The United States military base known as Area 51 is known across the world as being a hotspot of alien conspiracy as well as a possible research base housing extraterrestrial spacecraft and attempting to work at reverse engineering further alien technologies that have been recovered by the United States military. What many alien enthusiasts are not aware of, however, is that the United Kingdom has its very own version of Area 51. Rudloe Manor has been shrouded in mystery since its use with the United Kingdom military operations, mysteries that have only deepened as new evidence and theory comes to light. So today, we will be exploring the vast complex conspiracy surrounding Rudloe Manor, also known as the United Kingdom's Area 51. The history of Rudloe Manor started from very humble beginnings. Originally created as a Bathstone mining station, the area that would later be Rudloe Manor was worked and designed to mine Bathstone from the region to be used in massive building projects, utilising the material and its ability to be cut in any direction, a property that other layering stones do not have. This led to larger scale projects and cheaper means of production, which worked to help build hospitals, different forms of housing and other major construction projects across the United Kingdom. It was not until the start of World War II that Rudloe Manor gained its use in military operations, as the tunnels from the existing Bathstone mine was a prime location to store ammunitions and other material after the relentless strategies by the Nazi regime that led to massive bombings of above-ground facilities. These tunnels and further large caverns that burrowed deep into the ground and helped to create a safe and stable natural bunker was merely used as a central ammunition depot at the start of the war, but soon the area found itself to be a major control centre used by the Royal Air Force. This led to the creation of further operations within the underground facilities of the Rudloe Manor in 1940 that included the operations room, the filter room and then finally the shadow factory. It is this collection of rooms that would later lead to the formation of an alien research base after the end of World War II. The operations room was essentially used as a military command centre, establishing covert protocols on the handling of sensitive information and issuing out military commands to the Royal Air Force and establishing secret clandestine projects. The filter room acted as an intelligence filter, hence where it got its name, that served to establish a complex sorting system that helped to provide intelligence regarding enemy operations and further sensitive information and documents with such a secure filtering system that no leaks of information would have ever been possible from this filter room. These two rooms, however, dwarf in comparison to the importance of the shadow factory. The factory was originally established under the belief that a secret underground facility with the ability to create aircraft was necessary in the event that the Nazi forces continued their bombing assaults and destroyed factory productions of aircraft. This led to the creation of a complete underground facility with the incredible ability to produce entire aircraft in an assembly line from nothing but raw materials deep underground. Though the factory was claimed to have never been in operation, this would soon change during the 1950s. After what alien enthusiasts refer to as a definitive UFO incident, Rudloe Manor was then seen as a hotspot for alien activity and a control centre for further investigations. This incident occurred as Royal Air Force pilots returned from a bombing raid and encountered unidentified flying objects. Though the details around this incident are unknown, released reports provide further information claiming that Winston Churchill himself asked for the event to be covered up to prevent mass panic. This would develop into its own team of investigators from the Joint Intelligence Committee at Rudloe Manor, and within the operations room as weekly reports would be filled regarding the presence of extraterrestrials and the military's involvement. Further leaked information began spreading that the underground shadow factory soon became used as a potential reverse engineering facility, as the Royal Air Force had supposedly recovered a crashed alien spaceship that was being studied and held in the underground facility. Interestingly enough, these rumours are further confirmed by the James Bond equivalent of the alien world, Nick Pope, who used to work for the British Ministry of Defence and was tasked by the government to study and gather further information and research relative to unidentified flying objects, the alien presence, and their potential threat to national security. Pope would later go on to be an advocate for the disclosure projects, with the hopes of the UK government releasing further documents relative to their findings of extraterrestrial activity, but would later go on to say that mysteriously all of the files pertaining to the 1950s operations at Rudloe Manor that concerned alien activity was destroyed and unable to be recovered. Despite this unfortunate turn of events, further documents had been later released to the British National Archive that provided proof and evidence of the alien investigations and clandestine operations held at Rudloe Manor at this time, and with the help of Nick Pope and his efforts at alien disclosure. These clandestine operations included a wide array of alien reports that spanned over 5,000 documents, as well as famous events that had been covered up by the British government. The list of these events include a near-collision report of a 737 airplane almost colliding with an unidentified flying object, with statements from the captain and first officer, an alien response team investigating and recovering a crashed UFO at the Bewin Mountains in Wales, full detailed investigative reports of the Western Isles incident that many locals claim to have heard a loud explosion over the Atlantic, confirming the incident to be of extraterrestrial origin, the 14 minutes of supposedly missing footage from the Blue Streak missile test launch that's shown evidence of a craft landing and the presence of a spaceman as described in the report, and many other incredible discoveries that seemed too frightening to be true. Of course, these reports and their details would lead many conspiracy theorists and alien enthusiasts to begin referring to Rudloe Manor as the UK's Area 51, and as a potential command centre for black budget operations that would soon go above the clearance level of even the highest officials in the military, British government, and clandestine operations. As much as people might argue that this would be a stretch, the logistics and developments that had already been established at Rudloe Manor were more than prepared to undertake such a project and to become a completely self-reliant facility and factory capable of its own research, production, and testing. What many critics and skeptics of this idea do not realise is the extent of the size and ability of Rudloe Manor's vast complex tunnel systems. The underground tunnels and facilities make up more than 2.2 million square feet. To get a sense of this scale, one should look towards one of the biggest warehouse production facilities in the world, Amazon's fulfillment centre. 2.2 million square feet is more than twice the size of Amazon's fulfillment centre, which works to be a massive warehouse that produces and houses the endless goods available on Amazon available worldwide. Now imagine that level of production completely underground, self-sufficient and twice as massive, with a budget of the British military, additional black budget spending and an endless amount of Royal Air Force engineers that are capable of doing the impossible. The potential is nearly limitless. Now, if we take into account the past 70 years and the massive amount of reports that total over 5,000 documents and investigations, that would mean the facility had the ability to investigate and report roughly once every 5 days on top of the additional clandestine operations that existed throughout this time and the usage of the manor for sensitive intelligence and military operations. These reports are also only made up of the surviving documents and shared intelligence with the National Archive that are still around from that era. According to various sources and those within the intelligence community, many other reports, investigations, and further informational documents had been destroyed to prevent any further leaked information, which could mean an additional tremendous amount of evidence for the search of alien activity and alien disclosure that are lost forever. The scale of this performance had to have already been massive and well underway. It is also important to remember that information at the Rudloe Manor went through high levels of filtering processes, and so forged documents would not have been created or stored at the facility. Many skeptics claim that the released documents supplied to the National Archive are merely bogus documents that work to spread misinformation amongst the general public. However, given the strict protocols that had already existed amongst the Joint Intelligence Committee and further witness accounts from ex-British Ministry of Defence Nick Pope, this seems to be the most improbable explanation for the release of these 1950s documents and archived information. What is even more interesting about this case is that even though Site 1 of the Rudloe Manor base has been decommissioned and no longer within military use, the Site 3 buildings along with the vast underground tunnel complex is still used and hidden by the British government and Royal Air Force. These tunnels were stated as being repurposed with the ability to house British politicians and other high-clearanced personnel during the event of a nuclear strike, and be completely self-reliant and independent with vast established systems to live indefinitely underground. This could be further confirmation of the abilities of the Shadow Factory and its potential of vast production, self-reliance, and pre-existing infrastructure spanning nearly 7 decades of developments.